Good evening, welcome back to my channel, and this is going to be games number 11 to 20 in the 52 game challenge. The first game we've got here is Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I played this a couple of months ago, to get ready for another game that's in the pile, which is a spoiler, but fantastic. Second time playing it. I played it through when it first came out last year, the year before that, I can't remember when it came out, but brilliant game, absolutely fantastic. It was a little bit restricted in the sense that you only played in Midgar, but it was still fantastic, and it's just Final Fantasy VII. You know, it's set up Rebirth perfectly. But sorry, this time as well I played through Intergrade as well, so I downloaded the Intergrade DLC, so I played a lot of I played the whole Yuffie's story as well. And the really cool thing about that is that it introduces a new faction into the fold, but like it is a new faction in the terms of like Final Fantasy VII OG, but it's not a new faction if you've played Dirge of Cerberus, which is the kind of spin-off with Vincent. But it introduces that as well, so I'm excited to see where all that goes in the next one, hopefully, as well. So Final Fantasy Remake was game number 11. Game number 12 was Gungrave VR. This game was awful, absolutely pants, and I wanted to like it. I really did want to like it. This has got two games in it. It's got Gungrave VR and then it's got Gungrave UN or VR UN. They're both like an hour long. Like, they're so short. The thing that I was really excited about playing this for was because I wanted to play like a VR game that wasn't first person, and then in this one you do get to go around controlling the main guy like in third person, and it was I like that kind of spin. Like, I think a lot of VR games these days is just first person, and they just look boring these days now. But I thought I'll give this one a bit of a spin because of the perspective change. You know, I'd love to see more games like this perspective, like Astrobots, Rescue, what else was there? Moss, Down the Rabbit Hole. You know, just different perspectives. Just everything in VR these days is first person, and it's quite grating, to be honest. But in the UN VR in this game, it's more of a 2D side scroller. Like, it might sound kind of cool, but it's no. It's really pants. But it could have been cool. That's the thing. It could have been cool if they just gave some bloody love and attention to it, and they didn't. It just felt everything was just kind of like thrown in there, and that wasn't good at all, unfortunately. And I did like the ones in the PS2. They were cool, man. Like very slow games, but they're slow intentionally. They're not slow as in like bad design or anything. It's just because the guy is a slow hulking kick-ass character. But Gungrave VR, no good. I don't recommend that one at all. Infernax, game number 13. Fantastic game. This is game number, I think it's 5 in the Club 52. Game number 5 or 6, I can't remember. I won't talk too much about it because I think we're going to be doing a stream tomorrow night on Ross Haw's channel. Tomorrow night being Friday night. Fantastic. I got stuck in this right when I first played it, but then once I managed to play it a bit more and got used to everything in it, it was quite a simple game, to be honest, but it's fantastic. Graphically, a gorgeous little 16-bit kind of modern retro game. Really enjoyed it. Cool music, cool dialogue, really kind of funny. Loads of different endings as well. That you can get endings for. You can get an ending for. You jump off the boat at the start, and then you just go a screen across, and then you go back to the boat, and then that's an ending that you can finish it in literally 10 seconds to get an ending. brilliant game, but we'll be talking about that more tomorrow night. I think it is on Ross's channel. Game number 14 was Omno. So sorry, that was a digital only game, and it was. I remember downloading it, and it was Paul Dink Northerner. He mentioned he played it and he loved it. It's a fantastic little game. It's a very beautiful little adventure game. It's like a 3D platforming, open world, open area kind of thing. But it's not too open. It's not too big. It's very what's the word? It's very condensed. It's really good. I think like, well, there's no combat in it. It's all like puzzles you've got to do to collect these little glyphs to put into the big pedestal, and then you move on to the next area, the next biome, if you will. But it was really good, really relaxing. A nice little palette cleanser, if you like, as well. Like kind of just something you can put on and just kind of drift through. It was really nice. I really did enjoy it. Next game is Shadow of the Colossus. So this is another replay. I've played this many times, but I played it on the PS4. I played it on the PS5, PS4 version, the remake. Fantastic game, honestly. I can't remember who it was that put me onto it. I think it was Scott, Glory Hunter. He picked it up on one of his pickups. I'm sure it was Scott. And then when he showed it, I was like, I need to play that again because it's so good, man. I've only got it digitally on the remake, but I've got the physical one here. But I like Shadow of the Colossus, fantastic game. Honestly, it's so timeless. It's even good back on the PS2, but obviously with the PS4 version, it's a lot cleaner. It's a lot tarted up. It's a beautiful game. And like once I started it again, I couldn't put it down until I finished it. And the really cool thing about playing it this time was when I played it before, I wasn't really into like virtual photography or anything like that, but this time I was taking some really nice pictures of Trico. Trico's in Last Guardian. What's his name? Agro, the horse and everything, and taking some cool pictures of the big colossi. It's a fantastic game, gorgeous game. Highly recommend that one to people who haven't played it because it's fantastic. Game number, I don't know what number I'm at now. 16 maybe. 16. Yeah, 16 was Typhoon. So on the PS1, obviously. Sorry. So this has been sitting on the shelf for a long time, and it was thanks to like Retro Bear and his Play More in 24. I can remember sitting in here in the game room one day and I was watching one of his videos on the games that he was playing, and I was just kind of looking around. I thought, I've not played that yet. I'm going to give it a go, and it was really enjoyable. I did really like it. Like the kind of, it's like an isometric beat 'em up, and it's nice enough. It's got nice combos and combat and things like that. Cool music and voiceovers. But the thing that really let me down is like the cover art. Like the artwork on this is just fantastic. It just looks so cool, man. But this would have been cool if it was a 2D game, if it was like a 2D Metroidvania maybe, because the artwork in the manual as well, all the artwork is fantastic, but all that is lost when it goes to an early 3D game back in the PS1. The 3D graphics just don't hold up as well as they would have held up if it was 2D. But I really enjoyed it. It was a nice playthrough. It wasn't too hard. It wasn't too long. And it kept me interested all the way through. Really enjoyed it actually. It was good. So game 17, Final Fantasy Rebirth, Game of the Year, 100%. Absolutely loved this. So earlier on, I did play Final Fantasy VII Remake again just to get myself ready for this, and then into Grade, and then into Rebirth, and this is phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. It's got, whereas the first one, the remake, it was just Midgar you were in, and this one you start off in Cam, the town outside Midgar, And then, oh man, see when you walk out into the open world, it blows your mind. It's phenomenal, honestly. It's like that kind of moment that you got when you played like Skyrim for the first time and you walked out into the open world and it just kind of hit you. It was phenomenal. But this game, you go to the Gold Saucer, Cosmo Canyon, Nibelheim. Like, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I know a lot of folk that are doing like every area. They're going to do 100% on it first, and then they're going to move on. That wasn't for me. I just wanted to, because I'm very, very what's the word? Impatient. I just wanted to see the next story beat, because obviously playing the first one, the original one, sorry, I was just like, oh, I can't wait to see this. I can't see what they do with this. I can't wait to see what's next. And it was just fantastic. And you get introduced to Sid, Kate Sith, and Vincent. So they're all in this game as well. And my God, what a game this is! Honestly, fantastic. The part, if you've all probably played the original. The bit with Barrett and Dine underneath the Gold Saucer, that bit was just fantastic. Honestly, so good, so well written and performed. It was just amazing. But there's so much still. I need to go back to doing this, and I will. I don't know when I will, but I will one day go back and do the Chocobo races, and I'll go for all the summons, and just absolutely phenomenal. By the way, absolutely phenomenal, and I cannot wait for the third part. I don't know when that's going to get announced. I don't know, but I cannot wait for that. Game 18 was Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice. So after playing that big behemoth like Rebirth, I wanted to play a very short narrative driven game, and this fits the bill so well. Fantastic game, honestly. Graphically amazing. The audio design is out of this world. Absolutely fantastic. At the start of the game, again, it tells you the best experiences with headphones in, and it's phenomenal. After I finished the game, I went and watched the Hellblade feature. So that's in the main menu, and you just see the love and craft that they put into this. Like, they've really studied like psychosis and things like that, and voice hearing and things. And it's really cool in the game because when you get headphones on, you can hear like these voices talking to you, and talking about you and things like that. And it's just so cool, and you can hear them moving around in 3D audio, and it's fantastic. And then when I was watching the making of kind of thing, the feature, it was really cool because they had like 4 voice actors, and they had like the microphone hanging in the middle of the room, and they would be talking, but they'd be walking past the microphone as they're talking, so you get that kind of you get that feeling of like movement when they're talking and things like that. It's just, the thought process put in this game is unreal. It's fantastic, honestly. I really enjoyed the combat as well. The combat is very basic. Like, there's no skill trees, there's no big special moves and things like that. It's just very basic. You're a young what is it called? The girl, a Pict. I think they're called a Pict. I think they're the Scottish heritage, which I didn't really know until I was playing the game. And then when I was doing like photo mode and things like that, you can zoom into what she's wearing, and she's wearing like tartan and things. Oh, it's just, the game is fantastic, honestly, absolutely brilliant. Cannot wait for the sequel. It's due out this year. But as the time of shooting this video, I was on Twitter, and they announced that it's going to be a 30 frames per second game, and the amount of people in the comments crying over it is unbelievable, honestly. Like, I don't really know what the problem is with 30 frames per second. The game is going to be fantastic. It doesn't matter if it's 30 frames, 60 frames, 1,000 frames, it doesn't matter. The game is going to be phenomenal. What has happened to people when they're complaining about frames per second in a game? Honestly, that game, the sequel, is going to be amazing. But there's another thing as well in the whole Twitter bloody cesspool that it can be sometimes. There's also not a physical announced of the second one. So again, that's going to cause another uproar where people are not going to play it because it's no physical. I'm no buying it. Madness, honestly, just madness. Anyway, rant over. Game number 19 was Atomic Heart. I had my eyes on this for the longest time, and I thought it looked absolutely amazing before it came out, and I still do. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous game, stunning, stunning environments. Enemies are really cool as well. But the big thing that I think I mentioned at my collection video, the big thing that put me off in this game was the open worldness of it all. There's a lot of comparisons drawn to this with BioShock, and I'm sure I talked about this in my last video, but if they just went more of the kind of BioShock route and just made it like a linear, like going from one objective to the next objective to the next level kind of things, if they just did that, it would have been fantastic. But the fact is, when you finished an objective, then you'd come out of that area or out of that building or whatever, and then it was like your next objective is 10 miles away, so you had to jump in a car sometimes as well and drive over to your objective. But on your way there, there's like little things here to do and little things there to do. That's just no for me. I just like a story-driven narrative game, and I think that's where it kind of lost me. But when I was in the main objectives and when I was hitting all the story beats, it was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. And the twins are something else. Atomic Heart, that was a good one. I did like that, I did, to be fair. And then game number 20, kind of a cheat, but it's no cheat, because, so my last video I did my PS5 game collection, and this came up again, and I was like, oh, I want to play that again. I checked my trophies on it, and I think it was 5 or 6 trophies off of the platinum. So I've recently had a good couple of days off, and I've just been playing this non-stop, trying to hit out those trophies, and it's Returnal. So today I managed to get the platinum on this, and what a game, man. Honestly, I mean, I've mentioned it before, I talk about it all the time, but even playing it this time with a different kind of mindset, all I was going after for this game was finding all the ciphers and all the audio logs. So I was basically just running through the levels, like just running, sprinting through, avoiding the enemies to find the red sparkly kind of ciphers on the wall. So once I did a whole run, because it's auto-generated the levels, so once I've done a run and once I've exhausted all the area and there was no more little ciphers in the walls, I'd have to restart the run again. And that might sound a bit monotonous and people might not like that, but honestly I had a great time doing it. I absolutely loved it. And it is a solid game. It's a very, very hard game. Even trying to get the ciphers, just running through and trying to like avoid all the enemies, things like that, just to find the ciphers and the audio logs. But I've been playing this again the last 3 or 4 days, non-stop. I was even just going through some of the biomes, and I was going and killing all the enemies, and I would go and do the bosses, and it was just fantastic just playing it again. I still have the DLC to do, so the Tower of Sisyphus. The Tower of Sisyphus. So I'll probably do that again. I'll probably do that next year, and you'll probably see this again in the next year's 52, because the game is stunning, sensational game. Anyway, so that was games number 11 to 20. Let me know if you've played any of them. Let me know what you think of them, or if you want to play any of them. Anyway, cheers guys. Catch you all later. Bye.